FIL-08, Cam 47A, U.S. Highway 101, San Luis Obispo County, California, December 2023. The document you are about to hear is the most recent file in the present archive. It concerns events which began on the night of the 3rd of December 2023 on a stretch of U.S. Highway 101 north of the town of Paso Robles in California, and which have not yet been administratively closed. The materials have been compiled from California Highway Patrol incident reports, the public records release of San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office case file SLO 23-88614, and from a single digital video file totaling 4 hours, 11 minutes, and 47 seconds in duration, recorded by a windshield-mounted dashboard camera and uploaded in 3 encrypted segments to a commercial cloud storage account between 0122 and 0604 hours on the morning of the 4th of December.
The video file was first viewed by a human being at 0947 on the morning of the 4th by an investigator with the sheriff's office. It was viewed by a second human being at 1058 and by a third at 1130. The third viewer was the missing driver's older brother.
By February of 2024, the file had been viewed, in whole or in part, an estimated 12 million times. This is what is on the file. The driver. The driver was Marcus Antonio Reyes, 31 years old, of Reseda, California. He was an independent contract operator, owner of a single Freightliner Cascadia tractor, and had been hauling refrigerated freight along the Central California corridor for 6.5 years. He was unmarried. He had no children. His next of kin was his older brother, Daniel Reyes of Northridge. He was, by every account given by every person who knew him, a careful driver. He had no record of moving violations. He had not been involved in any reportable incident in the 6.5 years of his self-employment. He had purchased the dashcam, a mid-priced consumer unit with cloud upload functionality, in 2022, after a hit-and-run incident on the I-5 had cost him 3 weeks of work to resolve. He was hauling, on the night of the 3rd of December, 16 pallets of frozen poultry from a distribution facility in the City of Industry to a regional grocery warehouse in San Jose. He had stopped for fuel and a meal at a truck stop in Buellton at 21:40 hours. His receipt was found in the cab. He was, the cashier later confirmed, tired but not unusually so, polite, normal. He did not arrive in San Jose. The footage. First segment. The first segment of the dashcam file runs from 21:53 hours, the 3rd of December, to 23:48. The segment is unremarkable for the first hour and 40 minutes. The camera, mounted on the inside of the windshield, records the road ahead of the truck. The road is dark. The lane lines reflective. The radio is on. Marcus is humming, occasionally, along with a country station out of Santa Maria. At 23:36, the camera records the truck's headlights illuminating a figure standing on the right shoulder of the highway, approximately 300 meters ahead. The figure is small. The figure is, at this distance, consistent in size and posture, with a child of perhaps 4 or 5 years of age, standing alone, facing the road. There is no other vehicle visible in either direction. The nearest exit, according to the truck's GPS log, is 6.5 kilometers behind. The nearest building of any kind is a closed agricultural produce stand 4 kilometers ahead. Marcus's voice, on the cabin's microphone, recorded over the music. Oh, what the hell? Hey, hold on. He brakes. The truck slows. The dashcam continues to record. The figure does not move. At 23:38, Marcus brings the truck to a complete stop on the right shoulder, 22 meters from the figure, and engages his hazard lights. The hazard lights begin to flash on the asphalt in the foreground of the dashcam's view. He is heard to say, more quietly, "Hey, sweetheart? Honey? Are you lost? It's okay. It's okay, I'm not going to..." He opens the driver's side door. The cabin's microphone records the rush of cold air, the soft pinging of the door ajar warning, and the sound of his boots on gravel. He does not return to the cab. 3. The footage. Second segment. The second segment of the file runs from 23:48 to 03:11 hours. The dashcam's view is unchanged. The truck is stopped on the shoulder. The hazard lights are flashing. The headlights illuminate the figure on the shoulder. For the first 19 minutes, Marcus is visible, intermittently, at the right edge of the camera's frame. He approaches the figure to within 4 meters. He stops. He does not approach further. He is heard faintly on the cabin's microphone to say something which the audio is not adequate to reproduce. He turns. He looks back at the truck. He does not get back into the truck. He stands at the edge of the highway, his back to the dash cam, for what the timestamp records as 1 hour and 47 minutes. During this period, the figure on the shoulder, in successive frames of the camera's recording, becomes progressively closer to the truck. The figure does not appear to move. The figure does not lift either of its limbs. The figure does not turn its head. The figure is, in any frame examined in isolation, simply standing. Reviewed at conventional speed, however, the figure approaches the truck at a rate of approximately 1 meter per minute. By 0122, the timestamp at which the first segment of the file was uploaded to the cloud, in accordance with the dashcam's automatic backup schedule, the figure is within 9 meters of the truck. Marcus is no longer visible at the edge of the frame. IV. The footage. Third segment. The third segment runs from 0311 hours to 0604. The hazard lights are still flashing. The headlights are still illuminated. Marcus is not visible. There are no further sounds from outside the truck. The figure is, at the start of the segment, 3 meters from the front bumper. The figure is, at 0348, in front of the bumper, looking up at the camera. The face is small, carved, symmetrical, and pale. The eyes are dark and reflective. The figure is not a child. At 0351, the figure walks out of the frame to the right of the camera. The dash cam, mounted on the inside of the windshield, does not pivot. At 0404, the driver's side door of the cab opens. The opening of the door is not visible to the camera, which faces forward, but it is recorded clearly on the cabin microphone, and it is accompanied by the resumption of the door ajar warning, which had ceased 14 minutes earlier when the door, presumably by Marcus, had been pulled to. Nothing further is heard for the next 23 minutes, except the door ajar warning. At 0427, something is placed, slowly and audibly, on the driver's seat. The audio characteristics of this sound have been analyzed. It is consistent with a hard, light wooden object being lowered onto vinyl upholstery. The door, on the cabin's microphone, closes. At 0428, the door ajar warning ceases. The cabin is silent. The dashcam continues to record the empty highway ahead, the still illuminated headlights, and the still flashing hazard lights for the next 96 minutes, during which nothing further occurs and nothing further is heard. At 0604, the dashcam completes its scheduled upload to the cloud, and the file ends. The truck. The truck was located at 0736 hours on the morning of the 4th of December by a CHP officer on routine patrol, parked on the right shoulder of the northbound 101 at mile marker 347. Hazard lights flashing, headlights on, engine still idling. The driver's door was unlocked. The driver was not in the cab. On the driver's seat, in the position in which it had been placed at 0427, was a small wooden carved doll. The doll was approximately 1 foot in height. The wood was unusually pale. The hair appeared to be human. The eyes were of a dark glass. The doll was photographed in situ by the responding officer before it was bagged and entered into the evidence inventory of the San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office as item Q23-47A. VI. The investigation. A search of the area was conducted on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of December. The search included K9 units, a helicopter, drone overflights, and a foot search of the surrounding agricultural land to a radius of 2 kilometers. No trace of Marcus Reyes was found. The dashcam file was retrieved from the cloud account by the sheriff's office with the cooperation of the cloud provider on the afternoon of the 4th. It was reviewed in its entirety by Detective Sergeant Mariana Vela on the same day. Her preliminary report, released to the public in redacted form in March of 2024, concludes, the video documents the disappearance of Mr. Reyes. The video does not document a perpetrator in any meaningful evidentiary sense. The figure visible in the footage is not, in the opinion of the responding investigators, a person. The figure's motion characteristics, body proportions, and facial topology are inconsistent with any living human being. The case is being treated as a missing persons investigation. It is not, at this stage, being treated as a homicide. It is not, at this stage, being treated as anything else for which the present department has an established case category. 7. The doll. Evidence log. Item Q23-47A was logged into the evidence facility of the San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office at 15:22 hours on the 4th of December, 2023. The intake photograph and digital biometrics of the item are preserved in the case file. On the morning of the 7th of December, in the course of routine inventory verification, the item was found to be missing. The seal on the evidence bag was intact. The chain of custody log had not been altered. The bag, when opened, contained the original packing materials, the evidence ticket, and a single sheet of plain paper on which had been written, in pencil, in a hand which has not been matched to any employee of the facility. Thank you for keeping me safe. The handwriting analysis report concluded that the writing was consistent with that of a child of approximately 6 to 8 years of age. The evidence facility's surveillance footage from the relevant period showed the locker room from a single overhead angle, throughout without interruption. No person is visible entering or leaving the room during the period in which the substitution occurred. The locker is visible throughout in the lower right of the frame. The locker door is throughout closed. I-8 The file. The dashcam file was leaked to a public file sharing service on the 11th of January 2024 by an unknown party. Within 72 hours, it had been mirrored on a sufficient number of independent servers that effective takedown was no longer technically possible. By the end of January, the file had been viewed an estimated 4 million times. By February 12, the vast majority of viewers report no phenomena beyond the ordinary distress associated with the footage's content. A minority of viewers, estimated by independent researchers at between 2 and 4% of the audience, report a humming in a child's register, audible only when the file is viewed with headphones, at the lower end of the audio range, beneath the wind and the engine and the distant traffic. The humming is not present in any waveform analysis of the file. It does not appear on the spectrogram. It is not in the file. It is, however, heard. Marcus Antonio Reyes has not been located. His brother Daniel has continued, in the years since, to maintain a small online forum dedicated to the recovery of any further information concerning the case. Daniel reports that every December since 2023, on the night of the 3rd, he receives a single message in the forum's contact form, sent from an address that cannot be traced, containing only the same line of text. He has consented to the inclusion of that text in this archive. The text reads, "He is fine. He is not cold. He is with me." The figure in the dashcam footage has not been identified. The doll, recovered as evidence and subsequently lost, has not been identified. The file, viewed 12 million times, cannot be unseen. This concludes File 08. The archive will continue.